Well, good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson here on the weather desk, where we highlight the biggest weather stories, not only in southeastern Virginia and northeastern North Carolina, but across the country, across the continent, but also across the world. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's talk about the biggest weather headlines. We have a lot to get to for today. So today's weather headlines I'm tracking across our area. One, snowy holiday travel for the U.S. I am watching for some big snow stories to come out of a system, not only tracking through the day, but another one tracking just north of our area tomorrow. That same system bringing us some rainfall for your Tuesday. The opposite, though, we're talking some major flooding over in Asia, in Indonesia. Also, hurricane season has ended. It is the first day of December. Hurricane season ends on November 30th of every year. So we're going to talk about the end of hurricane season and recap the season as well. And last but certainly not least, we have a lot to talk about when it comes to the weather in Hampton Roads. We have a weather roller coaster in store for southeastern Virginia and northeastern North Carolina, as we are either underneath a very sunny and dry day or a rainy and mild day. Lots to talk about. But first, we talk about the snow. Today is the last day of the holiday travel period, and some parts of the country could struggle to bring people back home. This video shows the major snow that hit the Midwest over the weekend. You're looking at conditions from Illinois. The roads just covered in Manor County. The snow blowing so hard that in some parts of the state near Chicago, you could hardly see. And this video from St. Louis, Missouri, showing just blankets of snow across the city. Some people taking the risk of driving through it. And in Indiana, a 45-car pileup, yes, 45 cars pile up along I-70 due to snowy conditions. This all comes as the Midwest braces for another round of storms. CNN's Amy Kiley has more.
Winter weather continues to hinder travelers coming back from their Thanksgiving destinations. Forecasters say a new storm system is taking shape today in the Mid-South, near where Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas meet. They predict snow in much of the northeastern U.S. this week and heavy rain south of there. This system follows a previous one that snarled travel over the weekend.
Winter weather can always be impactful, but this is definitely one for the books for sure.
Indiana police say 45 vehicles were in this pileup Saturday with no major injuries. Delta says no one was hurt when this plane slid off an Iowa runway yesterday. FlightAware reports roughly 12,000 delays and 1,000 U.S. cancellations yesterday. It says Chicago's O'Hare Airport was the hardest hit.
We were pushed back because it was delayed for a couple of hours. Then we were able to get another flight. That one was delayed like another 30 minutes to an hour.
FlightAware says the busiest airport in the world racked up delays too.
The concern is that the flight would be canceled. If it's delayed, we've got some family here who's on standby to come back and pick us up. So we'll see how it goes.
That's even though it's in Atlanta, which did not get snow.
The aviation system is really interconnected, and it can have a domino effect. So you can be outrightly impacted even without being in that area that's seeing weather.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
And again, the snow didn't reach the southern U.S. and it didn't even reach here in Hampton Roads, but we are expecting some widespread rain through the deep south tomorrow and even up here through the mid-Atlantic. Let's talk, though, about the snow we're seeing right now in parts of the Midwest into the Central Plains. You can see that we have snow this morning in Omaha through Kansas City as well, just to the east of Wichita, Kansas, and then in my old stomping grounds of Oklahoma. As you get closer to places like Tulsa, around I-44, we're seeing some snowfall ongoing now. Now let's talk about the recent snowfall reports, because those are the storm reports we've seen anywhere from Denver, Colorado, all the way up as you get near Canada. So let's talk about some of the things that we have really seen here in parts of the U.S. when it comes to snow reports. We're going to go to Pueblo, Colorado, where this snow report says that there was about 2.5 inches worth of snow that was reported this morning around 4:28 mountain time. So you can see there's snow there just outside of Denver. There was about 4 inches of snow at a local ski resort. Let's go over into Kansas, just near Hays, Kansas, where we have a couple more reports. And you can see in the city of Russell, Kansas, about 1.5 inches. So not the biggest snow makers, but enough to get people to send in some reports. Let's go over here to Cleveland, Ohio. And as you get closer to the Great Lakes, we have a few snow reports there as well. So as you get closer to northern Ohio, 2.5 inches of snow. Also in northwestern Pennsylvania, we're also seeing about 4 inches of snow, and that was over the course of 12 hours. Last area I want to check, we're going to go all the way up towards the Canada border with Maine. And as we get closer to Maine, you can see that there are snow reports there of up to over 3 inches of snow. So again, a very snowy situation for us across portions of the U.S. for the holiday week, and now spilling over into the first week of December. Now, because we're in the first week of December, we're only about 2 to 2.5 weeks away from our next season, which is, of course, is winter. You may notice the sky is getting darker earlier and earlier. Chief Meteorologist Tim Pendages has more on why the sun sets sooner.
If you've stepped outside lately, you've probably noticed the evenings feeling darker earlier, and that trend is about to reach its peak. Starting December 1st, Norfolk will begin experiencing its earliest sunsets of the entire year, and that pattern will stick around for nearly 2 weeks. Even though the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, isn't until December 21st, the earliest sunsets actually happen a little earlier. Our sunset times and length of day don't change at the same rate because of the tilt of the Earth and the way our planet's orbit speeds up and slows down throughout the year. So even though daylight continues shrinking until the solstice, the sunsets themselves bottom out a bit sooner. Now in Norfolk, that means sunsets will happen right around 4:48 starting December 1st and will stay that early each evening all the way through December 11th. After that, sunsets slowly start getting later again, even though the mornings will keep getting darker for a little while longer. So what does that mean for us? Well, first, if you feel like the evenings are disappearing fast, you're right. These are the darkest afternoons we'll experience all year. That can affect everything from your evening commute to how much outdoor time the kids get after school, to even how your internal clock and mood feel this time of the year. The good news, even though we're still headed towards the shortest day of the year, the shift toward later sunsets begins in just a couple of weeks. So if you're already craving more afternoon daylight, hang in there. Brighter evenings are on the way.
And we do have that solstice. This is going to be on Sunday, December the 22nd, as we do have that next season approaching, and then we'll get more sunlight in that regard. Now, of course, with that being the start of December today, this also means we have hit the end of hurricane season. While no storms made landfall in the U.S., we still did see some damage. Tropical Storm Chantal caused widespread damage in the Carolinas, and 6 deaths have been linked to the storm. There also was property damage along the eastern coast of the United States caused by rough surf by hurricanes at sea, much like we saw in Buxton along the Outer Banks. But just how many storms did we get? Well, we did get 13 named storms here across parts of the Atlantic Basin. We went through Andrea, Barry, Chantal, Dexter, Aaron, Fernan, Gabrielle, Umberto, Imelda, Jerry, Karen, Lorenzo, and Melissa. Now, we have 4 of those. 4 of those which became major hurricanes. 5, of course, being hurricanes where Imelda did not reach that Cat 3 status to make it a major hurricane. But of the hurricanes, 3 of those were Category 5 storms. Aaron, Melissa, and Umberto that all made it to Category 5 strength. Aaron passed just to the east of us here in the Outer Banks and caused a couple of homes to collapse in the Outer Banks as well. Imelda and Umberto caused a lot more damage here around the coastal Carolina area, with some of those houses falling there as well. And then Melissa will probably be the name that will be retired. Melissa caused devastation in Jamaica and Cuba and also lashed parts of Bermuda as it passed by. Melissa was one of the strongest storms to ever form in the Atlantic basin. So we get these reports from the Hurricane Center. Now that the season is wrapped up, they'll start sending out reports on each of these hurricanes. They've already done a few of the very early storms we've seen. Chantal was the only landfalling system this entire hurricane season. And this is the first time since 2015 that the United States did not have a landfalling hurricane. So there was some good news in the mix of hurricane season, of course, overshadowed by the horrible news of what Melissa did to Jamaica and Cuba. On the other side of the globe, recovery efforts are underway after devastating floods hit countries like Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and Thailand this week. This is a look at some of the devastation left in the wake of the storm. More than 1,000 people have died across the three countries due to floods and landslides. And this morning, parts of Indonesia remain unreachable due to the damaged roadways and down communication lines. Residents in those areas relying on aircraft delivery supplies. Now we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're taking a trip to the cosmos. The new tech capturing breathtaking photos of Earth and an interesting discovery inside of an asteroid. Plus, I have your Monday and work week outlook. That's after the break. Well, welcome back, everyone. We're headed to space for this next story. Check this out. Tryptophan, the essential amino acid typically associated with making people sleepy after eating turkey, appears to have been discovered on a small asteroid named Bennu. NASA says it discovered this amino acid in a small sample from the space rock, which travels roughly around the Earth every six years. Bennu has a width of about 1/3 of a mile and then likely broke off from a much bigger asteroid at least 700 million years ago. The study's findings were recently published in the journal PNAS. Now, a new satellite is capturing incredible images of Earth and doing it in record time. Patrick Cornell shows off these pics. Take a look.
Check out these fantastic new perspectives of our planet seen from sea and space. Starting from up above, rapidly returned images of Earth courtesy of the European Space Agency's new eye in the sky, the Copernicus Sentinel-1D satellite, such as this stunning view of the Tierra del Fuego, South America's southern tip, contrasted using multiple types of radar waves to showcase the land in yellow and snowy mountain peaks in blue. About 600 miles south, the Antarctic Peninsula in black and white contrast the ocean and the continent's icy landscape. The satellite launched in early November and started returning these stunning images within 50 hours, something the space agency says is likely a record launch-to-data delivery time for such a satellite. The Copernicus program is intended to supply night and day imagery of Earth's surface in all weather conditions for scientific observation, as well as aiding in emergency response and humanitarian crises. Let's leave space and dive down to the depths of the ocean off the coast of Argentina, where scientists are scouring underwater canyons to collect data and examine a wide array of marine life. The Schmidt Ocean Institute launching a variety of subaquatic tech to map 4 submarine canyons and study how currents affect the seafloor. Scientists plan to spend the next few months studying how those currents fuel plankton blooms, the base food in the area's robust marine ecosystem. Along the way, giving us a super cool view of some interesting critters that call the canyons their home. And if science isn't your jam, try an adrenaline rush like these guys surfing in the frigid waters of Lake Superior. With snow covering sandy beaches, these adventure seekers thought it would be the perfect time to throw on some wetsuits and catch some waves.
It's instant brain freeze as soon as you go underwater.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
Just a very interesting story going on there as well. I love talking about space. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. So let's talk about it. I want to issue a correction that you may have seen behind me earlier. The winter solstice data that I showed you earlier was from last year's winter solstice. Here's a look at what to expect with this year's winter solstice. We're going to see a lot of this sunshine starting to pick up once we hit the winter solstice. And so that will be Sunday, December 21st. So it was the same day last year, it's not the same day of the week. Last year was Saturday, December 21st. This year it's Sunday, December 21st. And the solstice itself will be right at 10:03 a.m. We'll get about 9.5 hours of daylight, and daylight continues to increase for us as we progress through the end of December into the early parts of next year. And for someone like who is not a scientist, I'm going to call up my mom real quick. She and I actually had a conversation about this. She didn't realize that, okay, we're in winter. I didn't realize we actually gain sunlight during winter time, and it's true, we do. So for those who are dreading the fact that we have sunsets before 5 p.m., those will start to end in early 2026. So let's focus, though, on 2025. We have about 30 days left, 31 days, you want to count today, left in the rest of the year. But let's specifically talk about this week. We are significantly cooler today. We will see some of the dry weather continuing across the area for today after we did have that really big widespread wet weather yesterday. It was heavy at times, but most of the rain yesterday was on that lighter side of things. As we progress through the day tomorrow, that's when showers start to return again. And then we're cooler and drier as we get into the midweek. So here's a look at what I'm expecting for today. Right now, from the Thompson Creek Window Company's sky view, temperatures right now in those lower 40s. But when you tack on the fact that we have winds right now up to about 5 to 15 miles an hour, it feels more like just at freezing. So a very cold start for us. You can kind of see the camera shaking too, showing that it is a windier day here for coastal Virginia and coastal North Carolina. Wind chills over the course of the next 24 hours shows that we're going to stay in those mid 40s for feels like temperatures from now through 10 a.m. Getting to the afternoon, we're going to feel at best in the upper 30s, excuse me, maybe lower 40s, but it will be a very chilly day. So if you haven't stepped out the door yet, and you need to make sure you bundle up. Here's the reason why we're sitting so cool at the moment. You can see this cold front. It's pushing well out to sea. This front ushered in that wet weather we saw yesterday. It also brought some morning showers to the Outer Banks. You can kind of see it trailing off there right around 6 to 7 a.m. High pressure moved in fairly quickly right behind that front. That will bring in that sunny weather, but the cold air behind that cold front will be really stuck in place here today for the coastal mid-Atlantic area. So today, expect dry, sunny, but very cold conditions. I had it zoomed in on the Outer Banks earlier because we did have that rain, and now you can see that we're completely dry between Kill Devil Hills and Rodanthe. Over the course of the next few hours, temperatures really won't climb much. By noon, everyone's in the 40s, but the further north you live, the cooler it will be. Lower 40s for the peninsulas, mid 40s for the south side. Getting down into northeastern North Carolina will be in the upper 40s. Then during the afternoon, we may climb another degree or two, highs at best in the mid to upper 40s. But again, we have those winds coming from the northeast. The winds will start to taper off by the afternoon, but still gives us a little bit of a wind chill, what feels like temperatures in the upper 30s and lower 40s. Cloud cover starts to build in later on this evening into the overnight. That's the visual cue to let you know that rain's on the way. Is it possible that there may be some mixed precipitation in central Virginia? Sure. Is it possible that may make in our direction? Unlikely, but I'm not going to say zero just because temperatures look to hover right above freezing inland. The further you are from I-95, so closer to the water, your chance for seeing any wintry weather is extremely unlikely. It's really going to be places that's kind of hovering right around this I-95 corridor, so Richmond down through Emporia, but you can see that the wet weather starts to seep in for us through the morning time. Here's a snapshot of 7 a.m. on your Tuesday. I stopped it here specifically. That's because this is our work commute. This will be a very messy commute. We're talking temperatures inland in the upper 30s, in the central parts of the region, middle 40s. As you're heading closer to the water, lower 50s. So it will be a cold to mild rain here across the area for the work commute. We already had multiple accidents today as people were heading back to work after the holiday week and the holiday weekend. So I can only imagine what the rain will do for the traffic commute. Just give yourself an extra couple of minutes to get out the door so you're not having to compete with time when you're competing with rain and traffic. But also make sure you have the proper windshield wipers so that you can see properly on those roads, and keep a fair distance between you and the car ahead of you so we can avoid those accidents tomorrow. But again, a very messy commute for us. Also want you to know that you see these temperatures in the 50s tomorrow morning. This is as best as we'll get throughout the day tomorrow. So once this low pressure system moves through, this will bring us a heavy rainfall. The rainfall that will be the heaviest moves out by about noon. You can actually see that center of low pressure where those winds are starting to circle. This is the center of low pressure. So as that moves out to sea, it takes the heaviest rainfall with it, but there's still rainfall to come. We're going to see widespread rainfall through noon, but it will be light to moderate at best. Temperatures then inland in the lower to upper 40s, around the coast still hanging on to those lower 50s. We may see an isolated 60-degree temperature tomorrow afternoon. But behind this system, you can already see those northwest winds. That pulls in a cooler, drier air. So temperatures will fall throughout the afternoon. So we're going to see our high temperatures tomorrow during the late morning, and then temperatures fall to the 40s during the afternoon, but that will also allow for drier conditions to filter in as well. Cloud cover may stick around. We'll see sunshine again on Wednesday as the system continues to push out to sea, but another round of cold air is ushered in for the midweek as temperatures once again fall near freezing inland with upper 30s and lower 40s around the coast late on Tuesday. Overall tomorrow, expect half an inch of rainfall for places inland. Closer to the coast, we could pick up 1 to 2 inches of rain, and that is definitely needed for the coastal Virginia and coastal North Carolina areas. We're about 5 inches below where we should be for this time of year in terms of rainfall. So any rainfall we get is beneficial. It's just a timing it just makes it a little bit more messy because it is coming during a work day and especially during the work commute. Now let's talk about what to expect as we look well out into our forecast. I'm telling you, we're going to have up and down days here in Hampton Roads in northeastern North Carolina throughout the course of the next 7 days. 8 to 14 days out, we still may be below normal. Our normal high temperature for this time of year is right around the mid to upper 50s, and so we'll be struggling to get there not only this week, but also as we head into next week as well. So starting off December on a cool note, and it's really been the same way even since we were in August. We had very cool days in August, cool days in September. So it's not surprising that this cool trend is continuing, but I'm a person who loves warm weather, and so I'm ready for maybe some above normal temperatures as we get into the end of December, but a lot to be seen as we creep closer to that winter solstice. Again, Sunday, December the 21st, and then we have Christmas just 4 days after that. So as we round out the next 7 days, here's a look at what to expect. I'm talking a weather roller coaster, and if you think I was joking, you can literally see the up and down nature of this weather pattern. Today, temperatures in the mid-40s. We had the morning showers for the Outer Banks. Those are done now. We'll be dry for the rest of the day. Temperatures tomorrow at best in those mid-50s during the morning. Then we cool off throughout the day. We do have a 100% chance of rainfall tomorrow. Rain heavy at times, especially during the morning, becoming more light, but still widespread by the afternoon. Once that system moves out, we're drier and sunny again on Wednesday, but temperatures will be at best in the mid-40s. On Thursday, we warm back up to the middle 50s, staying dry. You can see our normal high temperature is 58 degrees, so we're staying below average over the course of the next 7 days. Then during the weekend, our next system arrives. This will bring us scattered showers Friday and into Saturday. This will also drop our temperatures again. So upper 40s on Friday and Saturday, finally creeping back to that 50-degree mark on Sunday, but a below average and very up and down pattern for us here in Hampton Roads and northeastern North Carolina. Remember, you can always get the latest on your forecast, plus traffic and news sent straight to your phone with the 13 News Now mobile app. You can scan the QR code on your screen to download the app in the App Store. It's free on the App Store and on Google Play, and you can keep up with the weather and watch that live radar. You also, if you want to see more weather, we do have the 24/7 weather impact stream that constantly updates you on the current conditions in your area here in Hampton Roads and northeastern North Carolina. Plus, we do have our in-depth weather nuggets, which is basically stories where we take a weather topic and we explain it further. We have a couple of them running on our 13 News Now Plus stream today about hurricane season and what to expect in December here in coastal Virginia and coastal North Carolina. But the weather desk runs every day here, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. And tomorrow, meteorologist Craig Muller will be back with your weather headlines from the weather desk. Thank you so much for joining me, and he'll see you tomorrow.